Merry Meetle. Welcome to this windy, cold, midsummer day. This is nuts. Hi puppies. Oh my boys. Oh. I'm just so hoping I get most of my large chores done, including, securing everything down before autumn arrives. 5 days. I'm a drawer of the old ways. One of the first signs of autumn arriving is the leaves on my birch tree start paling, start going light yellow. We are at the end of December, obviously, in the southern hemisphere. Our autumn begins on the 1st of February. Because of the constant wet weather, I would dare say most of the tree plants are thinking, oh, it's autumn already. We haven't even had we've had 2 hot days this summer, and that's it. Yeah, leaves are definitely starting to drop. So, everything, it's warm when the clouds are gone, but it's not normal to have this constant manufactured cloud bank and deluge this time of the year. We've had some real stinker hot days, just 2 of them in a row, which gave me the largest freaking headaches. But it's, scary times. Nature is fed up. So am I. This is not nature born, that's for sure. Anyone thinks that this is all normal or nature just going weird, I don't know. You just need to do a little bit more research outside of the approved right think that they're pushing out there. So what are we looking at? So this is all intensive purposes. Let's go back here. This is my legume tunnel. Now usually I have it covered with king beans, purple king beans or giant beans, but I just seeds, everything is just, for me, is so behind, out of whack, not just because of the weather, just too much on my plate. But yeah, the weather does play into it. When it's constantly windy, it does tire you out when you're trying to do work outside. It limits how much you can do because things are blown about. Hey puppies! Yo. And then, it's been a big year. This year I got my rooster, which ended up getting up hens for him. Building his enclave, his house, then getting 2 more lots of materials to make the runs for the ducks, which I also got. I've never had ducks before, I've never had chooks before, so it's been a big year. I'm an Aries, so I tend to bite off way more than I can chew, and I don't think that's going to stop. Anywho's, we are where we are. But I've got my artichokes going at least, and now I'm going to have to be quick because my battery is running. So these are my Aquadulce cultivar broad beans. Now they were growing in winter last year, so nearly 3/4 of a year, and they're still producing fruit. So definitely would recommend, especially in the southern hemisphere. We are reversing we're already starting to have our winters and summers like the northern hemisphere. The poles are literally shifting. So I would definitely make sure you have a lot of produce which grows really well in winter, for a quick harvest in spring, for whatever spring we do manage to have. But I should have got my shears. So what we're looking at here, this is sweet pea. I just love sweet pea. Now I did fuck up with this planting. I put them in the best bricks, whereas really I should have put them in the beds themselves, so I could free up the front planters for short crop flowers. But at the same time, I still need to develop the soil at the back here. So, it's now time. Look how beautiful that is. Perfect for harvesting. Why grow sweet peas? Okay, if you like perfume, the smell is just stunning. They create a wonderful barrier You got neighbours you don't want to see, plant them all through the front of your fence. And you know, they'll start dying back in a harsh summer and or late midsummer, and by autumn you put something else up. But they will grow profusely throughout winter, but what you'll see is a green. You won't see any of the flowers till spring. Also they're great fodder, so the critters like to eat them too. So you got ducks, rabbits, you know, any small animals like that, even cows, horses, they love to eat this stuff. So I think it's just beautiful. I love personally to dry the flowers myself and use them in my apothecary. Also they're a legume, so they're good for fixing the nitrogen in the soil. Now I'm going to have to do a separate post on this at some point in regards to, do you need to push shit everywhere? No, you don't. It's one of those annoying things as a permaculturist I see, is people think if they put shit everywhere, they're doing permaculture. No. Permaculture is actually permaculture design. We don't just have an idea and, oh, that we would like this and that, and then we start going away with it. No, there's a whole evaluation and testing that goes in before that. You might want this, that, the other, but the land or the area you're working in doesn't allow for that. Now you can do anything anywhere, but by what degree depends on what you've got to work with. Nature, your topography, where you're positioned, the seasonal impacts of that area. And a lot of the times you will not know this until you live in an area for a year. So any good permaculturalist will be doing an in-depth interview of their client to ascertain the woes and the strengths of the area that the client is in, to basically do permaculture design. It is a design. It is a design field. So all design should be playing on with the materials of what one has first and foremost. It's not about going in there with a bulldozer and reshaping things to what you think you want and need. Work with what you got. You need to understand what you've got. And this is where a lot of the bulk of permaculture study comes from, is the study of things of the past, things of the present, and technologies that could be utilized. And then having the wisdom based on study of permaculture practices throughout to do what's best for that situation at that time, which might change from year to year. Or, I mean, just look at the seasonal changes we're being impacted by here. Be it by some tyrannical farts who think they can play, you know, deity and screw with the weather, or not. It's you know. Anyway, so these are what the sweet pea seeds look like in their casing. Would I store them like that? No, I would split the pods and I would dry it. Well, actually, I put them in the dehydrator first with the pods, and for 24 hours, turn it off, let it cool down, do it again another time or twice. I pretty much want a pale yellow colouring to the pods, and then I'll start removing the pods from the peas. This cultivar is a lavender streamer. I do have a few cultivars, but I mean, this one's just perfectly ready to go. And once I clear these bushels, I will be having things to plant. So I'm just gonna get my seed game going. It's just I'm hoping that next week I can start getting more materials to redo my greenhouse plans to accommodate constant deluge and wind. So actually location, shape, things are going to have to change a little bit. And at some point in time, it's an evil plant, but it's still a druidic plant. The thistle. Oh, look at that beast. I need to remove that obviously because I'm extending the tunnel down here. But look at those thistle heads. I will be keeping those thistle head flowers for my weird craft practices, but yeah. When it comes to the broad beans, dry them, and to harvest them I simply just twist twist them on the vine. But they're just beautiful white flowers. They remind me of orchids, you know, black and white. So definitely get sweet peas are just gorgeous. Have sweet peas, you can grow the greenage and the vine throughout winter. And also the same with the broad bean. The greening will grow throughout the winter and you will not get fruit until it's right in spring. And it's almost one of those clock plants for me, that when I know the season's right for putting seedlings into the ground is when I actually have fruit being born from the broad beans. And then my artichokes, go artichokes go. Yeah, they're reaching pretty much 6 foot now. So it's a little bit over 6 foot. We're getting there. Blessed be Mary Part. So I thought I'd just share harvesting of my sweet pea seeds, and I also have some quick clips of my ducks as they were growing up. I've had 3 of them since baby, a few weeks old, and they're so gorgeous. Soon as a recent addition, so I'll be doing some time warp uploads of my ducks. I'll be doing finally some write-ups with them, and yeah, puppies, no. And my journey of building by myself these chicken runs, duck runs, house. I do need to get some good tools though, power tools, because I need to do some securing up modifications of the house, or even do a second one. And Marilyn's trying to tell me something. What is it, Marilyn? What is it? You know, some fresh grasses. Hello. Hey, buddy. Oh. No. Anyway, guys, blessed be Mary Part. Invest in broad beans, invest in sweet peas, grow to harvest the seeds themselves. Broad beans, you can also, so with the broad beans as well, I would recommend just drying them all. Keep some aside for consuming. Put some aside for seeds to plant next year. And then also the rest you can just consume. They're nice big meaty bean. You don't get a lot of beans per pod, but they're really big and meaty. And I do like the taste. It can be a bit of an acquired taste, a broad bean. And also the cultivar I have found the most successful for me has been the Aquadulce, which is what this one is. This is a small one compared to the size of them usually. And then whilst I'm on the bean and pea topic, I grow quite a few different cultivars of sweet peas and snow peas. They're not the same. Not all sweet peas and snow peas are the same, I should say. What I do is when I harvest them for seed, so I make sure to not mix them up. But then when it comes to food, I actually harvest all peas and put them in the same jar when they're dried. Doesn't matter, because they're going to go into my stomach anyway, and peas are peas. They pretty much taste the same, even though they grow and that sort of thing differently depending on the cultivar. Anyway, so that's it from me. Get growing, get harvesting, get storing, get on with it. There's no time right now if you're not already doing it. And if you're already doing it, fine-tune your game. Blessed be, and Mary Part.